the government without the civil society.
I'll be asking you if they have a point, but let me ask Fanyamambo, do you think they can succeed where others failed? Because this is not the first attempt at scuttling or muzzling the media. It's just furthering this agenda. But now they know they pinch where it hurts most. Do you think there's a likelihood of success here?
To start with, I think I want to invite us to look at Article 35 of our Constitution that speaks about the right to access to information. And so if there is a right to access to information, and especially 1B, the information held by another person required for the exercise of protection of right of a fundamental freedom. So the state has decided that for a long time, Kenyans have been receiving information, because sometimes some of these adverts are not just advertisements. Some of them is information about a polio campaign, for example, that is important for every other Kenyan wherever they are. And so if I've not been tuning to the national broadcaster and something as important as a polio campaign is happening, I need to have the right to that information. So I think when we look at it from the province of Article 35 of our Constitution, that some of the government advertisements are not just advertisements. They are actually an invitation to, or a call to action. There's a polio campaign coming up, or they are planning an international conference that is going to happen at KICC that could change our lives on construction, on whatever it is, even new types of medicine and so on. There's a lot that happens. So these advertisements is like access to information on government. If they, for example, they want to start telling us that they are giving us this subsidized fertilizer that they have been talking about, which, I mean, I have always had my reservations about, that is critical information for every farmer. And not every farmer is tuned to the national broadcaster. So they need to disseminate that information that is critical to every other user in a station or in a way that we can get to them. In fact, if it was possible to even pay, you know, nowadays there's a lot of TikTok and all, but make sure that in all media spheres, this information is disseminated.
Very interesting. Don't you think they may, you want to say something, but
yes.
Don't you think they have a justification before I go to Lempa?
No, I'd like to say this. Yeah. I'd like to say this. To start with, let us do an audit of taxation. How much money do we get, or does government get, from privately owned media houses? If you were to think of the Standard Group, for example, and just think of the employees, and how much is going, you know, just look at the pay slip of each employee times the number of employees here, from the drivers to the managerial team to people like yourself. There's just too much money that these media houses give to government in terms of taxes, probably more than the national broadcaster. So it is okay for government to take taxes from you but not give you business. And also think about in terms of employment. This government is out there running and promising Kenyans jobs in Germany. I don't know why in Germany. And already media houses have established themselves here and creating job opportunities for our people. And I think what we should be doing is saying, wait a minute, before we punish these people, or before we make things difficult for them, they are already employing so many people. They are already creating opportunities for so many people. And there is, I mean, it's also changing the economy. When you think of Standard Group, I keep thinking of the number of pickups you have that are out there distributing newspapers, and the diesel they are consuming, and the tires, and so on and so much. I mean, it is shooting yourself in the arm when you decide to take everything to the national broadcaster. Okay. Because the media out there that is privately owned is also giving the government a lot of money in taxation.
Okay. You have been around, you have worked with the media. I mean,